On Sundays, I have an erotic dream. It's every Sunday, just about morning. I don't know why. Maybe because you can sleep a little bit longer, so you feel a bit calmer. And after all the stress you've had all week, you finally start winding down on Sunday. The dream I have is always the same. I'm in this shoe shop. I'm waiting to be served. Then this shop attendant tells me, Sir, take off your shoes. I take my shoes off, but I've got this hole, this pock, where my big toe comes right out of my sock. And she looks at it and starts to moan. Oh, God. And she comes closer and she sits on my lap and starts rubbing herself right against me. And oh, my goodness. You got the picture, eh? That Sunday, it was the same. I get in the shop, I sit down, I look around, I know she's about to show up, and I'm ready. I mean, I am ready. I'm so excited. I can hear her footsteps. She's getting closer and closer and closer. Oh, God. Today, they're a little heavier. They're heavier footsteps. Debbie! It's my son. My son is 9 years old. His name is Franco, and he weighs more than I do. He comes in the bedroom with his breakfast tray. He jumps on the bed like a tsunami, and he's repeating that if I'm not going to eat my ham sandwich, he will. If you don't eat it, I'm going to eat it. If you don't eat it, I'm going to eat it. Me, I'm still basically catatonic. I try to hide under the covers this obvious consequence of my dream, as I slowly start to remember where it is that I actually am. And here starts the nightmare. That Sunday morning, you see, I've promised to take him and my wife to the shopping center. This shopping center thing's been dragging on for a while now. Ever since our fridge broke down 3 weeks ago, our family's going through a bit of a difficult time. You see, a few months ago, I lost my job. I'm an engineer. I worked for one of the major American mobile phone companies that started having to do cutbacks, and so the younger ones were made redundant without much hesitation. Now I'm looking for a new job, and while I'm not finding one, I spend most of my days doing Sudoku at the kitchen table. As if this was not enough, things between Carla and I are not going so well. Ever since I lost my job, she's come very, very intolerant. She says she's constantly anxious, that she goes to bed with this anxiety, wakes up with it in the morning, and that watching me staying at home playing Sudoku makes her want to just punch me in the face. She doesn't say it in an evil way. It's like she's the victim of this thing, of this anger. And that should be true, because when we got married, she wasn't like this. She was sweet. She was the most sweet, mellow person I'd ever met. She says it's my fault. It's my fault. I've made her this way. But that's not true. I actually think she would have become this way with or without me. You only have to look at her mother. Look at her mother. I'm telling you, she has the same thing inside of her. It's a fury. I'm telling you, it's a fury. And I'm telling you, she can't blame anyone else. She's a widow. Anyway, to make this long story very short, we've been living with a broken fridge for the past 3 weeks, and the fridge in this story, it's not a detail. It's important. It's actually the crux of the whole matter, and also the symbol of everything, of what was there and now is no more. Our fridge is still in the kitchen, but it's officially dead. It's starting to smell, too, even though there's nothing in there. Our groceries are outside on the balcony. You know, Carla doesn't like it, but it's winter, it's cold, and food keeps very well out there. And that morning I'm standing there just looking at the fridge. You know, we still have the fruit-shaped magnets on the door with those photos of our honeymoon in Corsica. Oh man, she's in her bikini on the beach. She's laughing so hard she's got tears coming out of her eyes, and I'm posing there, you know, my bikini. Yeah, scuba diving mask, fins under my arm. You know, I can't really remember what made her laugh. I never remember. Sandro! Says Carla, looking at me standing there in my underpants in front of the fridge. Are you waiting for this thing to come back to life? Because it's dead. And this is not meant as a joke. It's no one of her cruel little stabs when she wants me to do something about something. It's been like this for a while. She tries to shake me up with her sarcasm. So when I go to the bathroom, she's in there cutting her hair. She cuts a little bit every day. It's her way of relieving tension. She does it as therapy. 0.5 millimeter every day. I go near the half-open door. She's there chopping away with scissors in front of the mirror. Love, 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 I say. She stops and looks at me in the mirror. What do you say? Let's go buy a new fridge, eh? She looks at me in the mirror without actually even turning around. She doesn't move. She stares at me for a moment like, you know, like I'm a fly. And yet, it's for her I'm doing this. She knows. We have no money. And that this purchase is a big expense right now, that despite all our difficulties, I'm trying my best, but no, she does not miss the opportunity to humiliate me. Before I was made redundant, when I was already in the air and you know, people were talking about it, this was what I feared most. Not losing my job. No. I feared her reaction. Her face, the words she would not have spoken, the way she would have looked at me, you know, the strategies she would have come up with to make me feel even more like a failure, or worse, a stranger in my own house. Let Franco in, she says. She resumes her hair chopping. Surprised, I turn around, and behind me, this is my son. He too is only wearing his pants. He takes over, marching towards the pisser. He starts pissing so loud, it's like Niagara Falls in there. I look at his back while he's standing there in front of the pisser. I'm going to get dressed. Carla? I'm getting dressed. Huh? What? She says she can't hear anything in that endless pelt that covers everything. And I mean covers everything. So I put on a clean shirt, freshly ironed trousers. I put on the suit, this nice little suit that, you know, Carla gave me for Christmas. A tie? Nah, that's too much. Because down there in those shops, they're going to think I'm really rich and they're going to try to take advantage of me. So I'm ready. You know, it feels good to take your family shopping. It does. You feel like a hero, you know? You do. You feel a bit like a hero. So we're finally ready. We go downstairs and to the car, and Franco, who even if he doesn't look like one, he's still only a kid. He wants to sit in the front with Mom and Dad. Franchino, I tell him, look, there are only 2 seats in the front. Can you see, Franchino? 1, 2. The car factory made it like that on purpose. That's not by chance, because only 2 people should sit in the front. In the back, however, Franchino, there are two more beautiful seats. 1, 2. Look at how much space there is in the back. But as soon as we get in, my wife lets him sit right there. between us, wedged in there, sideways, between the two seats. I have no idea how he even fits in there. But so, Mom says he can do it, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if on the way, Franchino has to read every damn billboard and squirm like a pig, and he's so agitated, I'm starting to feel my breakfast come back. It doesn't matter because Mom said he can sit there, and so he can, and so we're off. When Mom says it, that's it. Okay. I start the engine. I wait for the oil temperature to go up a bit. I check the mirrors. I go in first gear, and with Franchino's elbow at my jugular, we finally head for the super buy. You know, we got to get there early, very early. We know that the parking lot at the super buy is always busy, even though it's the biggest parking lot in town. And in fact, this time too, it's full. Resigned, we joined the queue of all the others looking for a place to park. Finally, after about 20 minutes, I see this spot. It's a bit small, but it'll do. My car is no SUV, but it's not a smart car either. I'm pretty good at the wheel, so this shouldn't be a problem to fit this thing in here. I look around, and it seems like there's nobody else there. It's my spot. But while I get closer, this young punk comes out of the corner with one of those cars, you know, the ones with the two seats. I can see him looking at me from behind the windshield. He's a spoiled little son of a bitch. Still wet behind the ears. He's listening to his, iPod, and looks totally demented. Oh, Daddy, you were first! You were first! God damn it, Franchino, I know! Come closer to the spot, so does he. I go one more foot, and so does he. We stop. He understands I'm not giving in here. So I give gas to see his reaction, and he does too. The car's just been revved up, clean carburetor, filter, changed the antifreeze. This car is in great shape. I can do this. That Portaloo he's driving, 49 cc's. Yeah, 2-cylinder engine. He can't beat me. So I get down in first gear. So does he. Well, he has to. It's all he's got. I lift the clutch. Give it a little more gas. I look at him straight in the eye. A little bit more gas. The wife turns off the ignition. While that shitty little tuna can flashes right past us like a missile and takes the last goddamn spot. You want to poison us? Says Carla, who decides exactly at this moment to save the planet. I just look at her. Daddy, there's another spot, right there, Franco yells directly in my eardrum while an SUV gets dangerously close to what is actually the last free spot in the free world. So I say, go get it, just go get it, Franco. And he decides that even if the car has 3 perfectly other good doors, he's got to jump over me, kick me in the face, go out my door, so he launches himself like a buffalo towards this parking spot, narrowly avoiding the SUV that if they had actually run him over, oh hell, guarantee you, I would have had to pay the damages to them. But we park. Outside, we approach the shopping center. The weather today is pretty nasty. The vast gray building outline stands against the sky, heavy with clouds, the color of lead. I can hear thunder. It's not too far away. The sky is very heavy. Before going through the doors, I glance at my wife and son, and I notice they have this weird look about them. They have a different light in their eyes today, like some sort of awareness, something mysterious that I can't quite put my finger on. But it makes me very uneasy. So we go in. Superbuy is an American shopping center where you need to walk through at least 80 shops and count them. 80. Before you can get to the one you actually came for, so that even if you don't need to buy anything else, you're screwed. The home appliance shop, surprise, surprise, is the last one on that floor at the end of the corridor, and the wife and the son. Well, it's psychologically impossible for them to go through a shopping center without stopping eagerly in every, and I'm serious, every single shop they pass. Now, a husband in this situation can adopt one of two strategies. You can surrender, e.g. give your son an affectionate cuddle while he sticks his oily nose on the game shop window, smile to the missus while she is drooling over the furniture shop window. You can dream along about spending sprees on stuff you both know you never will be able to use, and instead of the double-jointed adjustable chandelier that cost 1,004 bloody fucking €100 that will more likely buy, so that they can feel even more miserable about themselves, epoxy, tinny, tiny, graceful table light for the bedside table that gives you this lump in your throat when you think that'll be the first thing you see every morning when you wake up. A husband can do that. But a husband can also adopt the guerrilla strategy. The guerrilla strategy is that of the worm. The worm creeps, unperturbed, staring into the windows, this way, that way, but staying right at the center of the corridor, equidistant from the two sides, full of shop windows. This way, keeping exactly at the center, perfectly unperturbed by any external input. There are good possibilities that you can actually pass, say, the 3 or 4 huge chain outlets unscathed. And I am a worm. I'm creepy. Unscathed. We've effectively bypassed the guy, the one that prints those t-shirts. We've avoided the locksmith. I know what you're thinking. The locksmith is not that much, but hey, give me something, right? So we get past the locksmith. We've been proceeding successfully for a few seconds when I hear, and when I tell you, I hear a sound that breaks a cold sweat out of me, and I pray. I pray I've misheard this. It is a whine. It is a whine behind me so desperate. I pray to God, please, no. Tell me that is a dog being beaten. Or a cat that's just clobbered. Maybe a pig that's been slaughtered. But tell me. It's not my son crying. It's a pig. My son crying. My wife has obviously already gone to the rescue, asking him sweetly to share in the way that is comprehensible to only humans. This reason for so much anguish, which I know already perfectly well, I know because, surprise, surprise, where are we standing but in front of the electronics shop? I know because my son can't go 2 minutes without his handheld video game. I know because I know my son. Franco, oh baby, Franco, why are you crying? Asked his mother while he keeps wailing, uttering broken sounds to which he nods as if suddenly they were speaking some strange exotic language only comprehensible to the two of them. They keep going like that for, I'm telling you, 5 minutes. Franco, why are you crying? Franco, baby, tell me why you're crying. Why are you crying, Franco? Oh, Franco, come on. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I was starting to be ashamed of my 9-year-old. He's the size of a fucking truck driver. He's behaving like he's got brain damage. I'm sorry, but it's true. My wife turns towards me and gives me the dirtiest look. If he's crying, it means he's feeling. You get that? She says it with a sophisticated pedagogical theory thing. And after 5 more minutes of tears and sobs and snot fountains going on to passers-by, the child places his hands on the pocket of his coat and guess what? It is his video game! And I feel like laughing, while obviously his mother is totally moved by this behavior. He holds it in his hand, shaking it, while pointing to the shop window. I turn towards it. They have another one in there on the window, the same identical one. But he says, no, mommy. And shaking his head, he keeps pointing at it. Fucking hell, it's the same goddamn game. Same name, same color. What the fuck is the matter with this kid? But he keeps saying no, shaking his head like an old paraplegic on his last hour. He keeps pointing at the video game in the shop window. He's shaking the one he's got in his hand. And when I notice this, I shiver. I swear to God, I shiver in horror. My son has 2 gigabytes of memory. And the one in the shop has 4! Okay. We're in the shop. It's not so bad in here. You know, it's clean, it's sparkling. There is this weird sort of persistent smell of hand lotion. It's nice, actually. My son browses the aisles, nonstop, lively, excited. My wife is looking at the mobile phones. I have to admit, I'm attracted by all this technology, shiny, gleaming, efficient. It's like stepping into some sci-fi film where everything is tidy and perfect, where nothing unexpected or scary can actually happen to you. And there is the shop assistant. At the end of the aisle, behind his counter, he's finishing serving a dad who's just bought something for his child. I see them from behind. The dad is finishing writing the check, giving it to the cashier. His child looks at him very happy. And then they pass by me while they're leaving the shop, the kid with his bag all radiant, all joyous. The dad is almost crying. The shop assistant, sort of a bespectacled young boy covered in pimples, observes us from behind the counter. "Can I help you?" he says. No, we just look. He nods his head, smiling, and while he's still looking at us, he begins to adjust his private, sort of opening his legs slightly and adjusting his glasses at the same time. It's a twitch. I don't like this place so much anymore. I go to my wife, who's still admiring the mobile phones. I say, "Come on, let's go. Blah, 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 let's go." But Franco is still going around the aisles like a lunatic. "Look how happy he is," she says. She's got a last generation mobile in her hand, one of those ultra thin ones, and I see the shop assistant emerging from behind the counter. He's coming right toward us. "Put it down. Put it down." She looks at me with spite. "What? I can't even look at things anymore?" "Put it down." But he comes closer. He's staring at my wife. "Can I help you, pretty lady?" He's a turd. He's smiling at her. I shake my head nervously. The smell of hand lotion, I'm telling you, is getting really strong in here. I notice that there's a tube. It's right there on the counter, and this boy's hands are very, very strangely shiny. "Oh, no thanks," says Carla. "My husband, he doesn't even want me to look at stuff." "Precisely," I say. But this kid, he ignores me like I'm not even there. He keeps his eyes firmly on Carla, eyeing her cleavage from time to time. He doesn't care I'm there. He looks at her and he smiles. "Well, what you have in your hands is very special. It's a wonder of technology and design that must be touched." Oh, God. He grabs the phone from Carla's hand delicately with those Vaseline-smeared hands. He opens it up. He starts illustrating its features with disgusting care and subtlety. "Tri-band," he says, smiling as if it was a magic formula. "Integrated GPS, last generation Wi-Fi, touch screen." He adds, pervaded by a wave of pleasure. "Well, actually, I don't really know anything about technology," says Carla. "Nor about grammar, I think. But I don't say anything." "Tri-band means that you're going to have a huge signal," he says. "Integrated GPS means that you're going to have it deep inside. And the touch screen, do I really need to explain touch to you?" Oh, fuck. This cretin. My wife looks at him, kind of uneasy. I give him a dirty look, too, and he does notice. "Well, if you need anything else, I'll be down there." And he heads toward the counter, and while he's headed there, I see him doing his little twitch again with his privates and his glasses. He's a pervert, I think, and suddenly it all seems clear. What he does with all that hand lotion. Wherever we ended up, I call my son, I say, "Listen, hey, let's go. Starting, he's handling a phone in her hands the same way that guy was doing it. "Come on, Carla, let's go." I drag her away, putting down the yak slimy phone. We go look for Franchino, who we cannot see anymore. He's not behind the computer aisle, nor the one at the plasma TVs, nor the cameras. Where are the video games? That's where he would be. Finally, we find him. Frachino is there in a catatonic state in front of the video game, brand new, and it goes without saying, slimy, and beside him is the boy. Put it down, Frachino. I tell him. I get closer with caution. He looks at me, goes back to the video game. The shop assistant looks at me, smiling slyly. Come on, darling, you know we came for the fridge, don't you? Next time we'll come, we'll buy you the video game. I tell him. The wife is beside me. I can see her, but I can feel her presence, suffering with our son. And the shop assistant is there, smiling confidently. Frachino, come here to Daddy. Come here right now. He looks at me once again. Then he looks back at the video game that costs half the monthly income of a civil servant in this country. God damn it, Franco. Come here, leave that thing alone, and I lose it. And not 1 second after I've lost it, I know this is it. This is the mistake. Sandro. She has that voice. It's calm. It's controlled. Slightly artificial. And she looks at me with those eyes that are like daggers that can really wound you. And I know I've lost all support now and that I must continue my battle alone, 1 against 3. I'm not going to buy it, Carla. What? And suddenly, I'm the child. Well, I'm sure the gentleman here will certainly find a solution to help us, Sandro. Don't you think, sir? And the shop assistant, who was just waiting for his cue, takes a step back, moving away from my son as if he needed a little space. He adjusts his glasses, forgetting his privates this time. There is a point collection scheme, ma'am. And as he's saying it, he smiles, and it almost looks like he's got a spotlight pointing right on him, enveloping him in this dazzling light. See, says Carla, and I brace myself for the inevitable fucking ripoff. What point scheme, Carla? Oh, it's ever so simple, says the slimy little turd. It works this way. Today happens to be Super Buy Day. So if you buy something today, you're entitled to the Premium Super Buy store card, which entitles you to collect a point for every purchase you do until 8 a.m. on the 12th of March. When you sum up all the points you collect during the year plus the ones you collected last year, you will be entitled to a free point to go towards the free purchase of another product amongst the ones shown there. And he points towards a non-specific part of the store where there happens to be nothing at all, zilch, nada, emptiness, void. Basically, every purchase you do at Super Buy, they give you a point. So when you get to 1,000 points, they give you 1 more to stick up your ass. I feel like laughing. I mean, they take the piss so openly all over you that it seems impossible this is actually even happening. I turn towards my wife and I'm laughing because is that my she's not laughing. She followed him. Everything. Full attention. She's nodding, fascinated, seriously considering this thing. I turn around towards Frachino, who's still holding the contraption in his hand. It keeps making sounds, and I'm sure he's got some Asperger's syndrome or something now. You're not seriously considering this, Carla. But that's a mistake, and I know how to make them. Because it's obvious that she's not only considering it, but she's already decided. And how do I know that? Not from this cold, unsympathetic look she gives me that would be nothing. She's pinching me right there on the end of my arm between finger and thumb with a strength and forcefulness that only mothers in those circumstances manage to develop without effort. Right then, when the thumb and finger are about to meet, as if the space that separates them, which to be precise is my flesh, was thin air, that's when, I don't know why, I'm suddenly persuaded, and I nodded. Where? Yeah, we're buying it. It's identical to the one he's already got. The video game that cost me a month of salary I don't have, but we're buying anything to get the fuck out of here. You happy, Frachino? soon as we're out of the shop, I ask my son if he's happy, with a lump in my throat, hoping that at least I could find the comfort in my son's eyes. I ask my son, "Are you happy?" He doesn't answer. He's got his eyes fixed on this video game. You see him, Carla? You see him? He doesn't even answer. What do you mean? He nodded. He nodded. I haven't seen him nod. But even if he did, could he not at least look at me, give me something? I mean, a smile, anything? I don't say this, of course. I can only think it. Because it's all done now. It's enough. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting with everyone, of struggling even to get a smile of gratitude. I'm tired of being the bastard in this family. He's hungry. His mother's obviously a psychic. When it comes to her son's needs, she knows. Carla, he ate half a pig about a half hour ago. You know, cafes and shopping centers are worse than they are in the car parks. Crowds are everywhere, by the cashier, by the bar, around the tables, everywhere you go. And of course, we're queuing to pay. This guy about my age places himself right in front of the counter. He's examining the sandwiches. Then he comes close to me. He looks at me. He smiles. I smile. I can see he's staring at me. "I was first," he goes. What is he, fucking stupid? I saw him get here and stare at the sandwiches for half an hour. Is he joking? I say to him, he shakes his head, always with this sort of half smile. "I left the queue and you took my place," he says with this vaguely southern accent. I look at him carefully with his woolly jumper on, sort of a stripy looking shirt. He's one of these guys who screws people for a living, I'm sure of it. He's a financial advisor, I bet. Broker, real estate dealer, something like this. "Look, guy, do me a favor. Get to the back of the line. Don't fucking make me angry today. It's the wrong day for that." He looks at me. He studies me. And he keeps smiling. "You came to buy a fridge today, didn't you?" "What?" "What?" "A fridge. You came to buy a fridge today." How the fuck does he know that? How do you know that? You're nervous, so you must be here for a big buy. One you'd rather avoid. It can't be a washing machine because your clothes, they smell clean. And it's not a dishwasher. There's only 3 of you, so you don't really need that. And you're not a man who spends more than he has to. I can tell that. Left on the list is a fridge. You need a fridge. I look at him a bit perplexed. He shakes my hand, introducing himself. "My name is Antonio Manca. Nice to meet you, guy." Then he pulls out a business card. He hands it to me, looking around for a moment. "Chitty credit, personal loan, 6 minutes." And I'm about to laugh. "What do you need to buy?" He says, "Only the fridge? Only the fridge?" "Yeah." I say, yeah. I don't even really need that." Yeah. They all say that. Then they change their minds. "How much is this fridge? How much?" "I don't know. Not too much." Let's say if you spend 2,000 euros. Let's say less than half of that. Perfect. 12 installments. 91.80 euros, 9.1% typical APR, 9.49 annual APR. Is that too much for you? I said I don't really even need it. Even better. Let's go higher. Have you changed? Car. You need to add a car too, probably, right? Recently? "I don't need it. I'm good. I'm serious." "Has your wife had implants?" "She has a D cup, man. What the fuck's the matter with you? Your son. Is he going to the gym? You know, he looks a bit chubby." Look, I say, start. You gotta get the fuck. Who are you?" Okay. I get it. And he leaves. We get to the cashier. Franchino has ordered a club sandwich. Carla a toast and an orange juice. Me, I get nothing. We sit. I look at them while they eat. Carla, every so often, cleans Franchino's mouth, in the corners with her napkin. When he notices I'm looking at him, he stops chewing and he looks at me puzzled. But I'm only thinking that that's my family there. And that they're right here in front of me. And again, for a moment, I have that same feeling. It's heroism. True. I feel like a hero. for nothing. Just because they're sitting here with me. And then we get up. It's time to go. This big purchase is still waiting for us. The electronics shop is one of these gigantic chains that sells a bit of everything. TV, stereo, air conditioning, dishwasher, washing machine, hair dryers, and obviously fridges. Franchino is out of control. He goes around with 2 video games now, one in each hand, bumping into the people, and now he looks really seriously, and I mean it, autistic. But it's all good because this terrible nightmare of a morning is about to end. We're here. Let's just go get the damn refrigerator and go home. That's the one. It's there in a corner. People are just passing by, ignoring him like he never existed. He's no beauty, I'll admit it, but he has a charm, a sort of strength, a history that his bigger brothers, certainly more handsome and better looking, do not have. His name is Smee-Ook. He's a Scandinavian guy, and if he didn't have it written on the side, you wouldn't know he's a second-hand model. While I get closer, I already start feeling better. I'm feeling a general well-being, a strange, almost magical feeling. This guy's 5 foot tall and 1.5 feet wide, covered in some sort of brownish, woody, effecty, plasticky looking stuff. He's very smooth, apart from that one little spot in the bottom right-hand corner, where a bit of it seems to be coming off. But never mind. The door's half open in a way that looks almost like a smile or a wink. I grab the handle as if it's a handshake. I'm getting emotional. The inside is in excellent state. The fridge has 2 ample shelves, the no-frost compartment for veggies, the egg holder, space for bottles. Absolutely everything is to order. The freezer compartment is not that huge, but it's okay for us. He's a bit stocky. The colors, even the smell, everything about him gives out this sense of, solidity, durability, trust. Smee-Ook is without a doubt the solution for us. Carla will like it. I know she's going to like this. I'm sure she will understand this fridge is the right solution for our problem. I look at him again. I really, seriously feel like hugging him. I restrict myself to a pat on the back, smiling happily at him before I go and call my wife, Sandro. She goes with that artificial serene voice she puts on. When I hear that, I automatically feel like someone is pulling my arm. But what is it, she asks, staring at Smee-Ook dumbfounded. It's the solution, Carla. That's what it is to all of our problems. That's what it is. It looks like a toilet, says my son. I think that this thing is not going to solve anything, she says. Why not? Look at it. It's sturdy, spacious. You can fit anything in there. And that, oh God, my God, the brown plasticky thing. What is that? That's in utter disgust. That's its beauty. Besides, it's coming back in fashion. Here they haven't realized it yet because this is a shop, for the upper crust. But if you go to the real classy shops, it's already done a comeback, I'm telling you. And it is useful to maintain the temperature. It's a Smee-Ook, Carla. I tell her, even though I'd never actually heard of this brand before. It stinks, goes Franchino, who sticks his head inside the fridge. And I wish Smee-Ook could be so clever as to close the door behind him. What do you mean it stinks, says Carla. No, it doesn't. It stinks. It stinks. It fucking stinks. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks. What'd you say, Franchino? It stinks. He's suddenly attracted to fridges more than video games. It's the smell of the plastic because it's been closed for a while. It's not a big deal. It stinks because it says it's used, he screams. What do you mean? What do you mean it's used? Asks Carla. It's used. It's used. It says it right there. Ah, Frank, you stop being such an ass. And I lose it. It's a mistake. Again, I know how to make them, but I'm tired. I can't take this anymore. I get close to Carla. Darling, darling, darling. I tell her with tears in my eyes, we can't afford anything else. You understand? Don't you understand? So after you made up telling us to keep the food out on the balcony for months, You want us to buy a used fridge that stinks. Carla, I'm not having you buy it. You see, Carla, I'm going to buy it myself. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to buy it with my money. But I can't say this, I can only think it, because if I only hinted at the issue that the money is mine, that I earn it with my work, she would leave me then and there. Which one do you like? Froger. He's 6 feet tall, 3 feet wide, completely covered from head to toe by tacky, sparkly satin finished aluminum, numerous shelves, 2 different freezer drawers, a no-frost fan. It stands there amongst its peers, unfazed, undaunted, admired, caressed, envied. I despise it. This, says Carla, is what they call a normal fridge. It's not too technological, but it's not too ancient either, and above all, Sandro, it's new. Does it cost a lot more than Chiyuk? I don't know, Carla. 4 times? So what that probably means is that it's worth 4 times the Chiyuk. Sandro. It's a normal fridge for normal people. You understand? And I want to be a normal person. Carla, that thing is 1,600 euros. So, you know how much money that is? How many hours of hard graft that is? You know, you're talking like a pensioner. 1,600 euros is 1,600 euros. We are in a recession. Everything is different. You get that? I don't know what to do anymore. I suggest to Carla that we try to get some advice on it so we can decide together, you know, what we should do. I look around for staff, but they all seem very busy. And suddenly the Froger's door opens, and a girl comes right out of the refrigerator. She's a shop assistant at the Superbar. She was actually inside, cleaning the fridge. She says, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She did not mean to startle us. I'm staring at her flabbergasted. She is beautiful, and I mean exotic, mysterious beauty, a little unnerving, but above all, she strongly reminds me of someone I know. Suddenly a curtain drops right there in front of my eyes, and I see her. It's her from my Sunday erotic dream. My God. Did you used to work in a shoe shop by chance? No. The wife looks at me. She's not following. The shop assistant says that she has to bring this Froger back into storage. I offer, maybe I could help you. She says, I shouldn't be allowed to go back there, but since the fridge is so heavy, I tell Carla, listen, I'll be right back. I should help her move this thing, you know. It's a nice fridge and everything. And I make my way with the girl. We push the fridge to the storage room. She's smiling at me. She is so grateful. Her name is Ludovica. It's printed right there on her badge. Oh, God, it's so nice in there. The lights are dim. The voices and the noises from outside are so far away. It's like being underwater. I feel like I could stay in here forever with Ludovica. Far away from everything, everyone, between the toasters and the washing machine. This way, she smiles. And she points at the place where the Froger needs to be positioned. I try to be manly, and I grab it by myself and I start pushing it in that direction, but after a moment I realize that I'm not going to actually make it. The problem is I'm starting to lose my grip. I can feel my right calf starting to give way. Ludovica, nothing, Frogé is coming down, lower, lower, lower. God, there's somebody heavy. I can't hold this fucking thing anymore. It's going to fall. God damn it, Ludovica, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go, and I tried this, son of a bang. Pretty bad pain. She comes to rescue me. She makes me sit on a washing machine and asks me if I've broken anything. I tell her I'm not sure, but I don't think so. And then she says, "Take off your shoe." Wow. And it all suddenly makes sense. The fridge, the lotion guy, my son acting so insane, all these pieces connect together and make sense all in that instant. With what's happening right here, this dream, my dream, is coming true, I think. So I undo my shoelace. I take it off slowly, and she stands there, waiting. And I take it off. Sandro! Someone is pulling at my arm. It's Carla. She's there on the door with my son, looking at me without understanding, but they don't like it, I can tell. Ludovica has disappeared like she's never even existed. Carla asks me, what's going on? I tell her, I think I've dislocated my ankle, but that she shouldn't worry about it. It's all okay. She tells me to go. We've got to go. Just let's get this fridge and go. She means it too. So I go to the checkout. I don't even try to say anything. I sign over my credit card slip for the Frogé, hand it to the cashier, who doesn't even look at me. He doesn't say thank you, acknowledge me at all. What does he know? That's the last dollar I got. Carla doesn't thank me either. No, Franchino. It's as if this was all normal. We're normal. We go out and the sky is still menacing. It's cloudy. The worst is yet to come, I think, for a split second. But that's not possible, is it? I turn briefly towards the shopping center while we're walking away from it, and I'm still limping. We get in the car. I start the engine. I look at my wife putting the receipt in her coat pocket. Franchino is now in the back, all absorbed in both of his games. The parking lot now half empty, oddly quiet, oddly silent, like something has just ended. Like something is about to begin. Love? I tell her, smiling. She looks at me. She has a sad look in her eye. It's like a thought. She's gone. She's gone and she's taking Franchino with her. She left me with Frogé. She's gone to stay with her mom. A week after that Sunday at the supervise, saying she couldn't take it anymore. All the anxiety. She had to do something straight away before things got worse. And my Sunday dream is gone. I just don't have that dream anymore, and there's nobody to wake me up jumping on the bed like an avalanche, and every so often, you know, Franco does come over, we eat in front of the TV, but we don't talk. Carla's always at her mom's these days. So she says. I see her sometimes. and give her money. More often, she sees me to give me money. Sometimes I think about Shmiuk. I picture it there alone in the huge shopping center in that dim, opaque light they put in on at night, you know, in the shops when everyone's gone. And I got this feeling, I know you're going to think this is stupid, but I had this feeling that everything would have been different had we bought this Shmiuk. I picture it there after all this time in the middle of a huge shop, alone and small, a little different from all the others, and it's still got its door open, and it's smiling. Roger, on the other hand, is here, guarding the kitchen, half empty, severe. I haven't put anything in it, still unchanged, and I haven't put up the photos. I got a feeling that if I did, it would rebel against it, as if those things have absolutely nothing to do with it. You know, the pictures, Corsica, bikinis, honeymoon. It's strange. I don't remember why she was laughing.